Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Lisa Horton Crafts. I'm Sheryl, and I'm happy to be here today sharing more of Lisa's fabulous products. I thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have your products together and can craft along right with me. Let's see. We got hi Lori. How are you doing today? Cold in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's pretty cold here in Ohio too. We've got about 8 degrees outside today, I think. And I haven't been out there. I'm staying right here where it's nice and warm. Hi, Katie. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Um, oh, I'm glad you got a chance to watch for the first time. Thank you. So these are the products that we're going to be using. I've got for my sentiment, I'm using Happy Vibes. These are craft stamps, and since it's birthday, I'm going to be using birthday hugs. So that is my sentiment. And then embossing folder, I have the wood panel embossing folder that I'm going to be using as the backdrop for these beautiful tropical flowers. It's so cold here. At least we got sunshine today. But I thought when I was making this card the other day, it's like it was so gray and dreary, and I wanted something bright and cheery. So this is the embossing folder that I chose, and the coordinating layering stencils, tropical flowers. And the colors that we have for today are these. We've got antique pink and burnt ochre and a couple of the interference inks. I've got these sweet treat shimmer, berry, and teal twist shimmer. So those are the colors for today. And these are the this is the project. Oh, hi, Patricia. Let's see who else has come. Patricia and Tracy and Teresa. Hi to everybody. Okay, and this is today's project. It's an easy fun fold that I've done, and we will do this one from start to finish. So that is, you can see that interference ink on there, and that nice little shimmer that we have, and just a sweet little card that we're going to make for today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move some of my inks. I'll move the inks over here, I think, just to get them out of the way as I make a big mess. And I'm going to bring in, since we're starting from the beginning, I'm going to show you how I made the card base. And I just have an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. And I'm going to start by scoring it in the middle at 5.5. And then I'm going to flip it and score it at 4.25. So we got there. And we're going to flip it around and we're going to score that. Oops, drop my little score tool there. Get back in there. Okay, and then we'll score this at 4.25. Okay, and so once we have the score lines in there, we've got them going both ways. And then we're going to put the paper on the diagonal and just line that up like so. And then we're going to cut that. And this is longer than my my actual, oops, I did that crooked. Did I get that crooked? Well, I did okay up here, but not so much down there. Well, let's see what we can do here. So then we'll just take scissors and cut that. There's the one that's off just a little bit. And cut that down the center, down that cut part. And there we go. So move this out of the way, and that's how we get the base. And then now I'm going to use this one because I actually cut this one properly. And so we got those score lines. So all we need to do then is fold this into the score lines to make our card base. and then burnish it as we go. So just fold that in like that, burnish that edge. Oops, I got ink, I got something on my bone folder. Let me get that off of there before we go, because that part is going to stay white and I don't want that showing up. Got a dirty bone folder, I need to clean that. So yeah, so we just fold those along the score lines there. And that's how, I need to get a different, that bone folder is ridiculously dirty. Let's try this one. Keep putting marks on my card base, which I do not want. Okay, so once we have that, then we'll put this into the wood panel embossing folder and create that background. Now it's going to be on the back, but that's okay, because of that nice pattern there, and we'll use that for, and we don't have to worry about the inside because I put another panel where I've just printed a greeting onto my piece of cardstock and then glue that in. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and emboss this card base. So let's see. The only thing you really have to worry about is that your embossing is straight. So I'll put this through my Platinum 6 here. Okay. So we have our card base all ready. So we'll just sit this over to the side, and then we'll go ahead and start with our stenciling. I'm going to bring in, let's see, what are we going to do next? We're going to do our, let's go ahead and bring in this, my tacky mat and my Ultimate tool. And I'm going to start with my stenciling. There are, I think there's 8 stencils in this set. So quite a few stencils, but it does go very quickly. So to begin, I'm going to start with the first stencil, and I actually have a piece bigger than I need. So I think I'm going to bring a little bit of tape, because I want, my paper is not going to go anywhere, but my stencils may, only because my paper is, let me move that up a little bit. My paper is bigger than my stencil. It doesn't need to be, but it's just what I pulled out of my, if I do it that way, then I got a little bit of space up there at the top, but it's not enough for it to stick. So we're just going to go ahead and use a little bit of tape. Make sure that stencil doesn't wiggle. It's not really going anywhere anyway because of the pegs, but you know me, Nervous Nelly, I always want it. There we go. Okay, so I'm starting out with the antique pink, and I'm just going to, I just want to really, oh, nope. I'm, this has been indicative of my morning, let me tell you. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to start with antique pink because I've got the leaves down here. I'm going to use the Teal Twist for my leaves. That would have been fun. You guys are probably wondering, what is she doing with pink leaves? No, we are not using pink leaves. We're going to use Teal Twist, and we'll go ahead and emboss this. So this is an interference ink, and as you know, because I'm putting it on white cardstock, it's showing up with this teal color. If I were to use a dark cardstock, it would have that pinky color that's there on the on the edges, but we'll just go around and pick up all of these leaves in this teal. I think I'll go ahead and make them darker. And I'm just using a single color for my leaves. You can have, obviously, lots of variety in your leaves. But this is how we're going to go with this one. I was chuckling. I was in a little bit of a panic before I went live. I'm one of the people, I am old school and I need my mouse. I've got that little mouse pad on my laptop and I can't do a thing with it. I have to have an actual mouse. And as I was setting up, my mouse died. And I was like, okay, so no big deal. We will just go ahead and get some new batteries. I put new batteries in it and it still wasn't working. I'm like, what is going on here? And I couldn't I couldn't use the, I could tell that at that point, obviously my mouse was disconnected from my laptop, but I couldn't use that stupid little pad to get my to the settings on my computer so that I could reconnect my pad, my mouse. It was hilarious watching me trying to get the computer, get that little mouse to move using that pad with my fingers. It was not working well at all, but I finally did and got it all sorted out. But it doesn't take much to get me discombobulated, so that's kind of where how we started our session today. But I hope you guys are having a good day. Yeah, Hope, I like the A2 size card. They're really easy, and when I'm making card bases, I like that you can get two card bases out of one piece of cardstock. That's always fun. Anyway, I can figure out how to save. We're doing that. Okay, so we're done with stencil number 1. And now on to stencil number 2, we're going to start working on our flowers. And here is where I want that nice little base of antique pink. So I want it nice and light, but I do want it to be visible. So I'm just gonna pick up a teeny bit of color on this part, this stencil. It's gonna be the background. And I've got probably enough ink on my brush that I can finish this out without even adding more ink, I think. Because oops, I just want it nice and light. There we go. Make sure, just trying to make sure that it's even though it is still light. Okay, so that's stencil number 2. And then we're going on to stencil number 3. And we're working on the 2 outer stencils. And for these, I'm going to bring in the Very Berry interference ink. And it looks a little bright, that color, but it's really, as you can tell from my sample, it's really a nice color. And we'll bring that in and just get that pretty vibrant pinky color. It's not a true pink. It's, like it says, a berry color. And just kind of filling that in. Not really worrying a whole lot about shading for this card, because I just want those bold, bright colors. to really just shine. And we've got nice little shimmer with these interference inks. It's like there's a big week coming this week at Lisa Horton Crafts. This is the 5th birthday for Lisa Horton Crafts, and she's got some really fun products coming out to celebrate. You'll want to make sure you check out all of the happenings this week, especially Friday. And if you haven't been to the new Lisa Horton website, you want to go out there and check it out. And Claire's on tomorrow and Thursday, I think, this week. And what else is going on? Lisa's on Wednesday, I think. All of it is posted in Lisa Horton Crafts Facebook group. So if you want to know what the schedule is, be sure to check that out. There's a schedule posted in that Facebook page. And Claire will usually have that up for you as well, so you can know what's coming in the week. There's lots of fun stuff this week. Okay, so that's stencil number 3. And for stencil number 4, we're going to add some detail to our leaves, and then we're also going to be doing our center. And the center flower, I really didn't want them all to be the same, so I just added some color to this one. Not as much color. I didn't want this to be solid, so I just added more color here in the center on this one. And then we'll pick up a little more detail as we add the detail to this flower. But this one is purposefully different. And then I'll go ahead and bring back that Teal Twist. I can move this antique pink out because I'm done with it. And we'll add some detail to our leaves. And this would be more apparent if I had made the bottom layer lighter, but I opted not to do that. So you'll be able to see it. The embossing will add the detail for this, really, more so than the ink. But I just like these bright colors. I'm usually a pastel, softer color kind of person, but I like these colors together. Oops. Okay. I got a little of the green on that one. Didn't intend to do that. Okay, so now we're going to go back in and with the very berry and add detail to our flowers with stencil number 5. There's a lot of 8 stencils here, but as you can see, they go really quickly. And on this one, I'm starting with the color in the center and then coming out to the edges. And the other ones, because they're all pretty pretty solid. I can start anywhere and just get that color, that extra little bit of color onto. I think that's about what I want for stencil 5. And then for stencil number 6, we're going with the little flowers that are there on the side, and I'm going to be using the Sweet Treat Shimmer for the flowers, and then the burnt ochre for the little stems. So we'll start with the flowers and get those in there. Just wanted another little pop of color on these. Goes very quickly. Nice and easy. And then I'll do my stencils in, or my stems in burnt ochre. Which, there we go. And get that down in there. This is a color I don't use a lot, but it's nice for woody things, I think. Okay, so that's it for stencil number 6, and we're coming along pretty good. For stencil number 7, we're going to continue with the sweet, oh my gosh, what did I do? I just tried to put my, I want to make sure I change the ink in my brush. So we're going back with the Sweet Treat Shimmer here and adding more detail to our flowers. Really getting that nice bright yellow going, and we're going to do that for these little, I guess, stamen. Is that right? I should know the parts of a flower, but I don't. But these little end pieces, I think it's a stamen. Okay. And that's it for stencil number 8. And then our very last stencil is, or that was stencil number 7. This is stencil number 8. And this is adding just a little bit more detail to those pieces we just colored that I call stamen, but I'm not sure what they are. You could probably do a darker color here to make it stand out, since it's going over top of some of the leaves. But I just stuck with the yellow. So there we go with our floral image. And the next thing we'll want to do is die cut this, and then we'll emboss it so that we don't have to emboss it twice. So I'll bring in my die. Excuse me for reaching over here. And we'll get this, there we go. We'll get this lined up and taped so that we can, I don't want this moving. I want a nice little even around as I can get my border on this. Sorry, I don't want to put my head in the camera, but I can't really see. Okay, I think I got it. And I'll just put a couple pieces of tape to keep it from moving when I die cut. And I got to change out my plates from when I was embossing. And then we'll bring it over and die cut it. Okay. And then we'll take this off. There we go. And then we'll bring in the embossing folder and we will emboss it. Try and get this lined up properly. When you have big hands like mine, it's a little more difficult to move this little piece. My hands, my brain thinks one thing and my hands do something totally different. Oh, see, there we go. I just had it and then I moved it. Oh. There we go. Almost. Pretty close. There we go. I think I got it. So we'll go ahead and run this through the embossing machine. Oh, I guess you need to have your plates lined up properly. Okay, so there is our piece for our card base. And the next thing we want to do is go ahead and what I did, well, first you want to make sure that it's opening the right way before you put it down. And then I just put this onto the card just to kind of get a sense of where I wanted the sentiment to go. So I knew that I wanted it on this little piece of the panel. And so that's 1, 2, 3. So the third one and kind of over in this area. So I just took that apart and then I brought in my Misty and I die cut or stamped my sentiment because I didn't trust myself since I'm going to be stamping that sentiment and this has texture to it. You know, you might want to use a stamping tool to help make sure that if you that you get a good impression, because it may take a couple of stamps to make sure that that's nice and a complete stamp. So that's why I opted to do that. Or if you wanted, you could just stamp it onto plain white cardstock and cut it, and then just add it with some glue. Or so I know I want it on the third one. I've got this extra little magnet here. that we're going to use. And I know I want it on the third one, so I'll just pick that up. Let me look at it. Make sure it's straight. It looks pretty straight. Let me do it again without being over top of it, because I really don't want that to be crooked. Okay, I think it was pretty much where it was last time, but just to be sure. And then I'll put some black ink on this one. And I don't have to worry because I can stamp it more than once if I need to. And we got a great one the first time. I think we're good. Okay. So we'll move this out of the way. Wipe some of this ink off of my fingers. And then while that's drying, we can kind of look where we want this to go. Again, put that like so. And then what I did was just pull this up. Ah! I still had ink on my fingers. This is definitely an inky fingers day. Thank goodness for sand erasers. They saved me from many a foil. Okay, so then we'll put this onto this half of the card. And what I was going to say before I interrupted myself was I just took a pencil and just kind of made light marks so I'll know where I want to put my glue. I don't want it to go beyond these points. And then I just added glue to the back of this piece. Well, I might add glue to the back of the piece if I get my glue open. Always a prerequisite. Okay. And looking for those marks, just making sure I don't go beyond them. Well, here we go. It's coming out slowly but surely. And just getting glue all around this half of the die cut. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and adhere that to our card front. Wiggling it around as you need to keep it inside. There's another little ink spot. Boy, I had inky fingers everywhere today. These little sand erasers, if you don't have them, get them. This is a mono, very well loved and well used mono. And so I'll take that off. And so then the last thing we need to do, well, a couple things. We need to put our sentiment on the inside. And again, I just used my printer and printed my sentiment onto my card panel. And then We can add that to the inside. The only thing I would say is if you are one that stamps the back of your card base, do that before you run it through embossing, the embossing machine to put the wood paneling on. But other than that, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, so there we have our inside done. And then for a little bling, which I always like to have, I just use some gems. Get some of this, I've got a lot of mess here today. Get some of this mess out of the way. I'm going to add some gems to the card front, and we'll be able to call this one done. So I've got some Spellbinder Spectrum AB crystals. They like it says, it's got two different colors, a spectrum of color on these little gems, and they look very nice with the colors that I've inked my flower with. And I'll just put some on the centers of these little yellow flowers. I don't know what they're called, but these little yellow ones, will put one in the center of each of those. And then I put three underneath, three of the little babies underneath the sentiment. Just kind of, let's see. Guess I'll put them right there. One. These little ones, they're so teeny, but they're cute. Oops. I'll give that a little nudge. And there you go. That is today's card. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope that you enjoyed the card. Be sure to share whatever you make into Lisa Horton's Facebook group, Lisa Horton Crafts. I thank you for your time. Be sure to check out everything going on this week, and looking forward to that fabulous birthday launch on Friday. So get your pocketbook ready, because you're going to want to get these new products that are coming. Thank you again. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.